This is the basement of 1501. The black line that you see there is the stack directly above that line. On the outside is the sidewalk. I point that out because if you crawl in here, get a close look at this wall, you'll see that it has pushed in about 2 feet at least. Water came down from the sidewalk, got behind the wall, and froze last winter. I think leave that alone. We won't mess with that, I think. Let me know what you think. All right, this is the back of the house. Now, I'm going to show you the plumbing. The water company came in and installed that unit. That has been there forever. I don't think we're going to change that out. Steve Hart came in and gave me a quarter-turn shutoff. So that is the quarter-turn shutoff to the entire building. Next to that is a drain. I don't have a laundry sink, so he gave me the ability to drain the entire system. We're not going to do anything with this except try to, insulate a little bit. I'm going to back up. There's the cubby that has the focus. Okay, there's the cubby that has the plumbing. There you see the stack. Steve was pretty good. Well, he was reasonably good about colors. In general, blue for cold, red for hot. He may have been consistent throughout. So you see that blue line right there goes across to the 03 side. If I walk up to that, he has given me a quarter-turn shut-off to the 03 side. All right, here's a big deal. If I have to shut off 03, I sure as bloody hell do not want to move those washing machines out of the cubby, crawl down this stupid ladder, crawl over there. No way in hell. So I want you to take that line up into the sink underneath, into the sink of 1503, and give me a cutoff that I can get to right there on the first floor in the kitchen. Just open the sink, turn that valve a quarter turn, and I've shut off all of 1503. Elsewhere, elsewhere in here, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what the hell the bastard did. We're not going to do anything anywhere in the basement except for whatever we decide to do with the plumbing. He did leave me a very nice light. He hasn't asked for it back, but I suppose he's going to want it sometime. I got insulation all over the place. We might do a little cleanup. I don't care how it looks. Somebody comes down here. I just don't want shit to freeze and break pipes. Cheers. Still in 1501. I'm standing on the ladder. The blue quarter turn knob that you see, that's black iron pipe. Obviously, that's a gas line. That is the quarter turn shutoff for the fireplace, okay? We've got a non-vented gas fireplace. I'm gonna move up a little bit, hang on. I've got a nice big firebox that was installed to accommodate a wood-burning fireplace. All right, no way in hell that I am going to let a tenant use a wood-burning fireplace. All right, this pipe goes back, and you might be able to see that it makes a turn, goes into the fireplace. This fireplace doesn't work, but I figured I'd at least show you where the turn is, where the gas line is. And there you can see they put a nice dirt leg in for the gas line. And that's the point where the gas line goes in and connects to the unit, the heater unit. I'm going to try to replace that heater unit. If I get really lucky, I'll find a blower. Cheers. Still in 1501. I'm standing with my back to the living room, looking into the kitchen. That is my multi-$1,000 Maytag stacking washer and dryer. Weighs a half ton. Obviously, it does not belong there. It belongs in the cubby that I just left. This is the cubby. We should have this all set up so that all you have to do is connect. There's a gas line. Somewhere. But all you need to do is connect to the dryer vent. I think the gas line is right behind it, where you see a rag. Connect the rest of this shit. This door, I want you to nail in. There's a pine POS door that gets nailed in, and there's insulation. Nice. I want you to put a nice big chunk of insulation, because just wicked cold air comes in there. Right in this same area, next to this cubby, is a coat closet. The coat closet is missing a door. Obviously, that needs to be replaced. Just a cheap white bifold door. And most interesting, it's missing a back. Steve had a difficult time figuring out how they had set up the water lines. So we finally just took a Sawzall, removed this door, and these lines go up to, you should be able to see right there. These lines go up to the front bedroom. So front bedroom 1501, you'll see a huge hole in the wall where these come out. This is my chimney. I don't need this shit. This box, I need the box to be legal. Well, also the house would burn down without it. So up to, somewhere around here, where you see the sign, airspace, blah, blah, blah. In theory, I don't think we're going to do it this time, but in theory, I can remove this whole damn thing and I can gain back a lot of space that I can use in some way. This coat rack, okay, this needs to be replaced. What should happen is you should pull open a white bifold door. So the track for it, for the top of it, is right there. There's a track at the bottom. Well, used to be a track. Pull open a white bifold door, you should have a nice upper rack, and you should have a back wall. You shouldn't be looking at the chimney. This is the fireplace. Right here, you can remember I showed you the spot where the gas line went into the firebox, and I showed you the dirt leg. This is the hole. It took me about a day and a half to find a bit. Well, found the bit, but a day and a half to push it through that hole. And this is just a little POS burner. It puts out quite a lot. Let me see. These are the instructions. Remarkably, they're good instructions. This thing doesn't work. I can't get it to come on and stay on. The pilot is supposed to stay lit. Oh, okay. The vent I have locked as permanently shut as possible, because I never want anybody to burn anything in here. Now, let me see if I can find what I wanted to show you. Just hang on. I want to show you the BTUs. That's in here somewhere. Crap, come on. Okay. It looks like, see if I can get this where you can see it. It's going to be difficult to see, but this baby will. I'm in 1501, and I'm looking at the front wall of the house. So on the other side of that wall is Liverpool Street. That piece that you see, that brown piece, that's the POS piece that blocks the access to the basement. Yeah, there's one tiny piece of trim left on the bottom of it. Laying around here, you might see other pieces of trim that go on that. So, and if you look to the right, you can see a little bit of insulation. That is supposed to be stuck up against the cubby. It needs to be insulated well because it's really cold down there, and that cold comes right into the house, and then I get a phone call from a tenant who is all over my ass because they're cold. And I don't know, they don't wear blankets, or I don't know what their fucking problem is. All right, then this unit on the wall, the Simon XT, all right, that's history. That baby's going away. Want to get rid of that. I don't know, put a plate over it or drywall over it. I think that's illegal. You gotta have a plate, but you know, whatever is appropriate. That light switch, if you hold your hand, you can just barely see the opening at the bottom of that light switch. If you hold your hand in front of that opening, or light a candle and hold it there, it'll blow out. So much cold pours in there. So I don't know if spray foam is the solution, but something has got to be done because so much cold comes in that it's just about as bad as having a window open. And the complaint that I get from tenants is, I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold. They are always fucking cold. Looking down here, same story. Everywhere that you see an outlet, same stinking problem. They've got to be insulated in whatever is the appropriate way. Now let's move to the front door. This sounds, Barbara, whoa, did she ever give me a raft of shit? But in my mind, the average hood, if the door is locked, will walk on by. If that hood happens to be a boyfriend that you pissed off, and if he is drugged up, in this neighborhood, there's a good chance that he would be, he wants your ass. And whatever it takes, he will kick the door in, anything. So, notice that this bolt right here, okay, there's the bolt key that turns it, and there in the silver you can see the bolt. Now you can see a little better. I want a bolt that sticks really far, and I want this is not the strike plate, but I want the strike plate ideally to be 1/4-inch steel. Now, this shit right here is supposed to be insulation. It's not worth crap. I have some other stuff that we can look at and consider. Oh, you might have noticed that the trim is missing. That's all over the house, probably in 1503. So it'll be a puzzle to find that, put it back together. Moving up the door, there's a chain. Well, there's the, you know what I'm talking about. I want one of those so that the tenant can open the door enough to see who it is, talk to him, but not so much that they can get in and cause damage. That part, I don't want that from Home Depot or Lowe's. I want that from Amazon, and I want a monster kick-ass SWAT team could not kick it in chain. I know this all sounds stupid, but you don't want to pick up the phone and have an officer say, "Sir, there's been a killing at your apartment." I want a monster piece of hardware, and I want to put in with screws, length of your finger, yeah, pretty damn close to 2-inch screws. 2 inches would go all the way through, so I want them as long as possible. Do whatever it takes to reinforce. Above that, I have alarms. Those are not in use. Don't worry about those. Just ignore those. Moving across the door up in the corner is a motion detector. Ignore that. You can remove it if you want to. It's not in use. Barbara decided paint first and then do everything else. I always kind of thought it was paint last, so it was painted, but it's got to be cleaned. That's the transom. It says 1501. Those are decals. I don't believe you can get those damn things anywhere. So leave that up to me. I'll solve that one. I gotta try to find paint and I'll stencil. All right, I've now opened the door to 1501. This threshold has screws. Not sure how well you can see it, but I see 1, 2, 3. So the height of this piece can be adjusted, and you want to tweak that to try to get it to the point where you can close the door without throwing your entire body weight, but it also is tight enough to keep air from coming in. Now, in addition to that, all right, that adjustable threshold will block drafts. I'm going to put a sweep here, not the shit you get from Home Depot, but I'll take care of purchasing that from Amazon. And we're going to put a sweep attached to the door, running the length, all the way bottom to top, and it'll stick out maybe that much. Now somehow that might interfere with the trim, but I'm looking for a sweep that will prevent drafts on the left side and a similar sweep on the right side. Okay, you see this piece of quarter round right here. Pretty ugly, the caulking and all that other mess. This piece of quarter round serves as that vertical sweep. So it may be, I don't know if you can either mount the sweep on the door on the inside or mount the sweep on the frame on the outside. Should have, on the left side of the door, same thing. We've got a sweep that runs vertically all the way up and down to block drafts. And at the top, same story, got a sweep, whatever you call that thing, that blocks the draft. So we're going to put left, right, top, bottom, and at the threshold, this piece right here, we're going to put something to try to block this. Now the door is shit. You can see when you look closely, this thing catches most of the morning sun. It burns the bloody hell out of it. The paint is wrecked. There are places where the wood needs to be puttied. There are cracks where you could put your mouth up against the door on one side and blow a candle out on the other side. All right. The door is coming off the hinges. The entire goddamn thing is coming off the hinges, and it's going to stay off for a week, or at least, because it takes that long. I don't want the paint to just dry, I want it to cure. All right, here on the back side, you can see how screwed up this is. Nasty cracks. I'm going to take it off, putty all of those. I had somebody doing the sanding, and when you get close, you can't quite see it in the video, but when you get close, they'll do a wretched job of the sanding. That's with a totally flat finish. You put gloss on there, it's really going to look like shit. So this whole thing is coming off, and to go on a sawhorse. I will do this work myself. I'm going, unless you find some way to talk me into a more reasonable solution. I'll stain it, seal it, you know. This hardware looks pretty ugly and worn. This mortise outside of a museum. I don't know if you can find it. There's my mechanism right there. If there's a better solution, that would be great. I don't know what to do. On the outside, it's worn much worse. The fellow who painted the outside of the house, he knew I was going to repaint this, so he didn't worry about slapping paint all over everywhere. Which is okay. That was the plan. But notice at the edges. See, that's because we painted it, let it stand open all day, then when we close it, turn to shit. So this time it's coming off. Instead of leaving this thing wide open for a few days, I'm going to get 5/8 plywood. That would mean we. No, that means you. 5/8 plywood and lag screw the 5/8 plywood into studs. I don't care if you lag screw it as far, wherever you find a stud. If you go all the way out to here, if you go 3 feet away from the door, that's fine with me. But somewhere on the inside, same deal over here, on the inside, lag screw the 5/8 plywood. No need to cover the transom, just the door opening. Then from the outside, when somebody looks at it, it'll look like a door. I might even paint the fucking thing red just to make it look more like a door. All right. While we're out here, on both sides, there's some wobble. You can see a little bit of wobble in that railing. I want to get that fixed up. This is just a POS wireless doorbell. I finally found the transformer, so I'm going to put a proper doorbell, transformer, buttons, the whole works. Try to make this thing look a little bit better. We may or may not replace this light. Let's talk about that. So this is 1501, then here 1503, same deal. I do all the exact same stuff to the doors. You can see there's the weather stop that they've put right there. This is 1503. All right, 1503. This is 3 up there. So I took a different solution to the same end. And same deal with the door. I'm going to take this thing off the hinges, 5/8 plywood on the inside, paint it to look like a door. This railing, kind of loose. I want to paint that with some good black paint. Jim's here, so we'll just have a chat. Cheers. 1501. Replace any boards that are missing. Put together the HVAC that Jessica broke coming off the main trunk. Make sure the window is not letting cold air in, and cover this with indoor-outdoor carpet. I will replace this bulb with a motion bulb that'll light up as soon as anybody comes in. All right, we'll foam in that window a little bit.
Yep.
I'll still use it whenever I've got to go out and work on the roof, but seal that up. I will frame this. This piece gets connected to, right under George's foot, and we'll frame the main trunk. And here we'll just wall this off so that they can't get back here. Have a wall there, indoor, outdoor here. This will still look like a room.
Does that get night vision?
Yeah. Oh, you'd be amazed. Yeah.
I'm sure.
And I don't think we'll bother. No, let's not wall in the furnace because some probably catch fire if we did.
Is this piece just hanging?
Which piece?
The wire,
This wire?
the board.
Yeah.
Right here. We're missing one back here.
If there's anything you can hang on this wall to cover all the ugliness,
It's just hanging there?
No, it's in there.
that would be good.
Yeah, right here.
Could just a drape.
Underneath there.
Anything.
Yeah, I'll just throw a piece underneath and just.
All right, here we're gonna do something to take care of these steps because right now there's not too much of nothing holding them in. They can twist out of place. So cleats. There. We get a little further up. You can see that they did put a cleat in here. Second step down. Maybe George wants pressure treated, or here if you get close you can see you got nothing but nails. Okay. Everywhere that we've got a vent, we took out the grate, tried to clean it. I might as well. I will be responsible to find the goddamn things, spray paint them white, or do something, and install them. Yeah.
You go up to the south side, and everything is like, yeah, and they're two-way streets too. And then you get up here and it's like, wow, it's like they actually thought about what they were doing with the horse and buggy.
1501 front bedroom. This is where Steve gave me the mother of all access panels by taking all the drywall out of the room. I believe all that needs to be done is drywall that. The only trick is this is painted the wrong color, and since we have to repaint that much, I will repaint myself. So JSC will not paint. I will paint. This is supposed to be ivory, and I will paint the trim, and I will paint these goddamn windows as soon as I figure out what to paint them with. I want this door, this is still being debated, I want this door to be a solid door, and
What we'll do is, probably take that trim off, take that drywall all the way down. Alright. So we shoot drywall to that, and if they do, what we got here, an access panel?
Yeah,
the
that's-
door right there.
that's the tub. I gotta pick some
It's right here, Jim.
Oh, we got her, okay.
some higher end hardware. I'm not going to go to Home Depot for my plumbing parts. Now, Steve, he put the shields, the nail shields there wherever he had pipe. He labeled. He did a lot of things well.
Yeah, very professional.
If he had charged half and only put in what I asked for instead of pre-plumb the entire building, I'd have been digging that. But
Okay, so put the doors back up is what you're saying?
okay. Now these doors go in the bin. These are rubbish. I want to replace them with a nice looking white bifold.
Oh, so
I had-
you want new 6 foot
Six
5
fence.
holes in here?
I had Barbara shop.
4 footers.
Yeah, Barbara's gonna. I was
You
recording,
got some in
didn't
the
know
front,
it.
but
Okay.
your back, but
All right. These doors they go in the trash, and where Jim is, I'm going. Barbara will buy white bifolds to go in right where Jim is standing. So we will try to do the buying as much as possible to save you the running around. All right, so Jim and George will come up with better ways. It's almost always women in their 20s and 30s that rent. Always too long, so I'll fix this. Ted will paint before any of the racks. All right, so you can install the drywall, do the seams, mud, all that shit. Just get it paint ready, and I will paint.
We'll fix that.
Oh,
We'll
yes,
fix
and
that. No problem.
yeah, Steve had to do a little exploring to find the whatever he was looking for. Yeah, so I will be sure I run ahead of you in time. Right. In 1501, that shit is out of here. And we're gonna get hardware from a plumbing supply store.
Deal with the flange going around the bottom
Yeah.
of the toilet. So we might have to tear the floor out
Yeah.
if you're gonna
Yeah,
replace
yeah.
it in order to keep our flange down low enough.
Right.
So, just a thought.
Okay. Right. That mirror is going to be replaced. I will buy for you the appropriate mirror. Those side lights are going to stay. The overhead lights stay. This toilet, we're going to have to think about issues with the flange and the depth. So I don't know if we're going to replace this or not. I'll work that out with you. But we are definitely, and this POS vanity is going to stay. Sure, I thought I had some light here. This is the front of 1501 facing Liverpool. Next to the front door, put a solid plate over the phone jack. That's the power supply for the Simon XT system. Fish those wires out. Remove the Simon XT. I don't care if you cover it with a solid plate or if you drywall it. That's useless. This blows cold air. It's got to be foamed. Yeah, seems a good idea.
It wouldn't take much.
All right, so what I think we'll do
Probably less than 10 grand.
is a pencil mark right here that's back 28 inches. So we'll remove, let's see, ain't shit in this wall, we hope. We'll remove this,
We'll find out.
and that way it'll be a combination laundry space and coat closet. We want to replace this range hood with a proper range hood. It's standard size, so that should be no problem. I am going to try to keep the stove and put a Rust-Oleum coating on it to make it look nice. I'd like to put a microwave in here if I can figure out a way to do it. Might make that a 12-inch cabinet and raise everything up. Then in the corner, Next door, they did something that worked real well. I don't know if there's anything we can do here in the corner. On this fence, I'd like you guys to do two things. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I have never been able to get the goddamn thing to hang straight. It keeps hanging lower and lower and lower. There's not enough wood behind those hinges to hold them up. So you can see the slope, and as it slopes, gets to where it won't latch, right? So I'd like you to fix the latch, but I also want some protection for my tenants. So I want you to put a secret slide bolt on the inside that has to be released in order to pull the gate open. Or it can be, you know, a hook and eye, just something really simple. That means if a hood wants to come in, he's going to have to jump the fence. These, I'm not ready to replace the fence, but if you would sister pieces across the top to give the support that we need, yeah, that's probably the very best solution. There are places you can see, you know, where that's just bad stuff. We need something. We need something sistered across, and if you go further, you know, right here, this has already been sistered once. So if you do that, that'd be great. Thanks. You can see my motion light here at the back door. Dan Essig put that in, ran the cable down. I don't know where he got the power from. That light has worked really well. It's a Defiant, one of the few things from Home Depot that hasn't broken. I badly need motion lights on the outside. I have tried to use those Mr. Beams. Oh man, it's really hard to see that. Okay, let's try again. All right. I got a Mr. Beams, it runs on 4 D cells, and here you can see another Mr. Beams. I'd like motion lights, 2 of them on the side here. It's a big, big, big help for the kids when they go to school. When the tenants pull up and park here, you know, I'll have a guy taking a piss on the gas meters. If they park right there and don't lock their doors, and people break in and steal stuff. So huge help if you can put motion lights up. Get the twin bulb, that way I can point them and up and down the sidewalk, light the whole place. This is 1501. That light is controlled by that switch right there, immediately to the left. Got a switch there. Oh, bloody hell. That should be a GFCI. That's going to have to be replaced. That is a GFCI, so that's good. This light, let me pick a fixture. If we can talk about it, I like track lights with the big BR48 bulbs, but you know, we'll see. We talked about running a wire from an outlet in the basement through the walls and putting under cabinet LED bars. I'd like to do that if possible. In the corner, that thing is a mess. The corner cabinet in 03 is really good, but I don't know how to do that without replacing the whole set of upper cabinets. I plan to paint these things on the outside. I'd like to paint them on the inside, but I'm hoping that cooler heads prevail and I don't do that. This range needs to be replaced, the not the range, but you know, the fan, the blower, and maybe cut that to a 12-inch cabinet, put in a microwave. Except I don't know how anybody would ever be able to get up that high, so I'm not sure about that. I want to see if I can find a Rust-Oleum product that would make this look nice. Over here, we need to put in bifold doors. I've got to find myself fire extinguishers, but that's my problem. This door, yeah, I didn't mention it to you. I think we're going to have to take this off the hinges, put it on sawhorses, and do it right. But maybe you guys can talk me out of it. That would be a good idea if you can. The woodwork, you know, all the painting, all the non-skilled labor stuff, I can do that. Maybe if I get lucky, I can find a kid to help me. If you know a kid that you can bring along, that's great. And then got a really cool outlet down there that, oh, here, I can zoom in a little bit. Need to fix that outlet up. And we're going to put in long plank vinyl. All the switches need to be cleaned, outlets need to be cleaned. We've got to put a tester into every outlet and make sure that the polarity is correct and that they're grounded. That phone outlet that you see right there, that should be replaced with a solid plate. This is 1501. These are the drawers between the sink and the fridge. These are just the dumbest damn drawers. The hardware is crap. They're narrow. They're shallow. Just, you know, pick away and they suck. If somebody's got an idea of something to do to make these things better, that'd be swell. This is the kitchen in 1503. That little 3-piece halogen light fixture, that's got to go. Barbara or I will shop and find something. I don't know what it's going to be. Any suggestions, let me know. And then, yes, so bright. This light in the center of the room, we might keep that one. That's up for grabs. There is the corner cabinet that we have in 1503. That works really well. It's fucking useful. If we could do something like that in a 1, that'd be great. The range hood, you know, might as well go ahead and replace it with a nice new clean one. The stove, you know, I really do not want to buy a stove. I want to try to paint it. These are my doors. I'm going to paint those. I've got a 2-part epoxy with white tint, so I'm going to try to make the 1501 doors white. And in here, most everybody would tell me to keep these exactly the way they are. I might. I think they'd look nice if they were white. I don't know. The counter is the Rust-Oleum counter transformations. I might just go over that again. with another coat, maybe in a different color. The sink hardware, we'll have to decide if it needs to be replaced. Test the outlets, clean them, put on cover plates. Over there where I've got the garden lime, there's a switch behind there that's got to be cleaned, put on cover plates. And bifold doors there, I think these are the bifold doors for the kitchen. Not sure about that. That old foam plate there by the back door, that could be covered with a solid plate. Back door will need to be painted, and we can talk about, do I take it off the hinges or what are we going to do? This is 1503 against the back wall of 1503. Apparently they had the dryer there at one time. That was the 220. Want to either pull those wires out of the wall and drywall it, or it's a rental, so just put a solid plate on it and paint it. That's it. These pieces on the ladder, that we had to walk over, Diana painted these for me. That's just the primer. There's a top coat supposed to go over them. They go somewhere. We'll have to work out the puzzle for where. Where I ripped out the drywall to fix all of that, I probably, mucked up that, I think it leaks. So, once you're really sure it doesn't leak, then we're good. I do not want it drywalled solid because I know the damn thing's going to leak again. So, a piece of plywood. Truth is, it's a rental. You could shove the icebox back in there and leave it alone. That would be good enough. This is 1503, the coat closet. You see the carpet down there. This is right where you step out of the living room, up those little 2 steps. Coat closet is on your left. Jim talked about cutting back 28 inches, turning this into a combined coat space and laundry room space. Seems like a good idea to me. There's a door that gets screwed into, cover that opening. Should have as much insulation as possible behind it. It sounds silly when I say that, but you can't believe how much cold air comes in from the goddamn basement. It's a big problem. So whatever you can do there is good. Front door to 1503, same deal. We're going to take that off the hinges, put it on sawhorses, screw in 5/8 plywood, and I will take care of all the refinishing. The transom, I'll take care of that. We'll have to find the trim, and I'll figure out how to find some gold paint, replace those letters. This, the strike plate, lock, and jam, we want to find whatever solution we can. The strike plate, the jam, really want that to be as solid as possible. Want it to be not kick proof. I would want it to be kick-proof. All right, there's a nice piece of steel that I put over it. George talked about 1/4-inch steel strike plate. That'd be good. I think we're definitely going to need a dead man. There's just not enough wood left to screw anything into. And we want to put nice 3 or 4-inch screws. You can see I tried to put a screw in there and it just split everything. So it's going to take some serious work, but I want to make this safe. There's a nice long screw that I put in right there. That's the kind of thing that I want to do. Now, because it's up 2 steps, it would be hard for a bad guy to get a running start, but you know, I want this thing to be safe. I do not want to call that one of my people got killed last night. I'm in 1503, right next to the fireplace. Those are the drawers that belong in 1501. That paint you don't want to use. That's biscuit. It's that red crap that's in the bedroom in 01. Next to it is extra white in satin and in gloss. That is the paint that goes in the 1503 bathroom. Over here by the front door, 5-gallon pail. This is the paint. This is the primer that we're putting on the trim. It's supposed to be sanded as smooth as a baby's butt before you put the damn stuff on. There's plastic wood because we're busted up in a bunch of places. Got to put it back together. Finish nails because sometimes you're going to have to put on the plastic wood, drive in the finish nail, take that nail punch right here and punch the nail in. When you're done and it's time to finish up, then we have, focus, come on. This is extra white. The extra white is what goes on everything that is not a wall. Everything that is not a wall. All the trim, all the doors, anywhere on the window, everything. That's where that's, right, you get the picture. Bedroom walls, 1503. I'm in the back bedroom of 1503. The stuff that goes on the walls is Medici, what is it? Medici ivory. Medici ivory. Best way to do these windows, I believe, sand it all down, do the bottom piece, do the curvy bottom stuff in the extra white, sand that other stuff, put some nice, you know, whatever. All right, the inside of it, if it's already white, do it with white. A little trouble getting it, but you know, okay, yeah, just paint that shit white, okay? If it's too much trouble to, yeah, if it's wood, just leave it wood and hang a blind over it. Attic doors are going to be the extra white, okay? The wall will be Medici ivory. Color difference is probably not obvious at all here, but the walls will be Medici ivory. The trim and the door will be coming from the exact same bucket, same stuff. The extra white and use the glossiest that you can. Primarily it'll be me doing the dumb stuff. Anything non-skilled, I'll do that. I'm in 1501 in the kitchen. These 2 rows are ammonia. So here's the fridge. This is the first row, and this is the second row, and that is all ammonia. I'm in 1501. There's the fridge, and then 2 rows that I did with ammonia. Those rows with the smoke detectors I skipped. The next 2 rows I did with bleach. The next row with the rat trap I skipped. And then finally a row with OxyClean.